Don, is this where you tell us that you spoke to Frank Lampard about Christian Pulisic at the UEFA Super Cup final?
Yeah, me and Frank have been chatting for weeks on end. We've been texting left, right and centre. Told him about Pulisic. He's different class. Listen, I thought Chelsea absolutely battered Aston Villa. And I was so surprised at Aston Villa's tactics in the game, where they drew 0-0 the other day against Sheffield United in a must-win game. And then Chelsea come and they were so deep. And all of a sudden they scored before half-time. And then second half, they just went so deep trying to hang on. They are not convincing me, Aston Villa, that they've got a chance of getting out of the bottom three. They are really struggling. And Chelsea, all of a sudden, has become fashionable. Everyone loves Chelsea all of a sudden. And I'm telling you, if he sticks with Christian Pulisic, which is going to be hard because I hear that Frank thinks he's a little bit shy, so he needs to do more, then they are building some side with Timo Werner and Hakim Ziyech next season.
I hear that Frank thinks he's a little bit shy. How do you make him less shy?
He's shy. He needs to come out of his shell. He's an unbelievable player, but he needs to do more.
Are you actually here, Don, or is that on a record from like 4 months ago when you said Frank Lampard said that Pulisic was shy and needs to come out of his shell? You're going to have to get another line. Listen. If I was a Chelsea fan, though, I mean the Achilles heel for Chelsea is the batter teams and don't kill the game off. Right? That's been one of their problems up to this point this season, and it looked kind of like it again for a long period. That being said, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're super excited about some of the players that Don mentioned, the options Frank Lampard's got. The Loftus-Cheek playing further up didn't quite work, but he can do it. But he's been out for a long time with injury, the lad, so he's rusty, but he plays better from a deeper position. But when you add in the fact that you've got Tammy Abrahams, physicality, you've got Giroud, years extra contract, option, Timo Werner coming in, Hudson-Odoi to come back into the team. Mason Mount can play in several positions, as can Pulisic coming off the bench. Exciting going forward. That is a lot to look forward to if you're a Chelsea fan. Is it going to be enough next year? We don't know, but that will pile extra pressure on Frank Lampard, because when you look at that team, you think, wow, they're going to be super to watch, and now it's going to be up to him to mould them into something that's going to challenge the big guys at the top.
Stevie, as a coach, how do you improve shyness?
I've got no idea. Not a clue. You need a psychologist, not a coach. Listen, Chelsea's biggest problem, I think, is not going forward. It's defensively. I mean, they're going to create chances and put teams under pressure all day long, every single time they step on the field, regardless of the opposition. But I'll tell you what, they give me a heart attack at the back. I mean, they go a goal down. Okay, it's a fantastic ball in behind, but there's a couple, maybe even 3 Aston Villa players, any which one of them could have put the ball in the net. And then they get ahead, and then the mistakes. I mean, Rudiger is so lucky. He tried to play a back pass, completely missed it. Ended up nothing happened. And then Aston Villa could equalise with, 7 minutes to go. Christensen made a mess of a clearance, a simple clearance. So, listen, I'm with the boys as far as attacking's going. Yes, they could do with putting teams away, but they will create chances, no question. But they have to do something defensively to shut the shop up.
And I tell you, Dan, the other thing is as well, Spanish goalkeepers are the theme at the moment. We were talking about De Gea after the Man United Tottenham game, and he came in for a lot of stick, and a lot of it from us, and I think deservedly so. And he's going to be looked at closely by Solskjaer and the fans. There's not a doubt about it. Same can be said. Kepa didn't think he did brilliantly with the first effort that he palmed out. It came straight to him. Some might say it came a little bit quick, but I don't think Lampard will see it that way. I think he'll see it as another mistake from a guy who he's considered, before the lockdown, a little bit of a liability. Now, this is an issue. As Stevie said, defensively, they've looked a bit iffy. And when that happens, you need to have a rock-solid goalkeeper behind you. And I don't think the Chelsea manager believes he's got that.
Don, looking at those 8 remaining matches, how much of it is kind of a shop window now for those players looking to book a place in the starting 11 or indeed the squad next season with the new personnel coming in?
Yeah, it's going to be a test, but that's what you want. When you're playing for top sides, you want to be tested. Tammy Abrahams took a knock today. He didn't play, so his confidence will be dented slightly, but he's got to respond. It looks as though Giroud is Frank Lampard's trusted number 9 for what he does to the team and what he does to the midfield players and the wide players in and around him. So I think when you're Chelsea, when you're pushing for all the domestic trophies in the league, potentially Champions League next season, you are going to need a bigger squad. And I don't think Tammy Abrahams the finished article. I think he's a fine young player, but he needs a little bit more to his game when he matures. So I can only applaud Frank, because what he's trying to do is trying to put his own stamp on this Chelsea side. And I agree with Stevie, really. When they do go ahead, they don't finish games. They don't control games, neither. They missed Jorginho today, and he's one that could control the tempo of a game. And unless they get 2 or 3 clear, they still give you a few flutters, Chelsea, defensively.
Don applauds Frank Lampard's shocker. Stevie, what's it like when you've got all of these players vying for these places? What's the dynamic like in training every day?
Well, it's great. It's great because everybody, every single time they get a chance to show up, they do it. You know, competition, everybody says competition is great for any team, and that's why, because not only when a player steps on the field on a Saturday or a Wednesday or whatever day the game is, but every day in training, you have to show something to the manager that says, you need to play me. You know, you can't go in and mope around and stick your head between your legs, because if you do that, you definitely won't get a game. So, listen, I'll bet the 5-a-side matches they have in training are pretty quick and pretty sharp, and everybody's getting after it. So, competition, absolutely 100%. Fantastic for any team.
Dan, somebody asked me recently, would Christian Pulisic play if there was a commercial viability for Chelsea here in the United States? And nothing could be further from the truth, unfortunately. All those players that the lads have mentioned are going to only play if they're playing well enough to earn a spot in the team, because there can be no sentiment in this business, particularly not in the Premier League with the billions involved, the Champions League places, getting back to the top in England, all the things that go with it. Frank Lampard trying to enhance his stock, keep his job. So all these guys are only going to play. Anybody who thinks anyone's going to get in this team because they might sell a few jerseys here and there is living as the phrase I love in cloud cuckoo land, because Lampard knows he's under pressure to close that gap, to get Chelsea back to the top. Abramovich will expect it. He's gone out with the checkbook already, and he's given them Timo Werner, one of the best forwards in European football, and he'll expect results. So none of that front line or any other player in that Chelsea team will play next season or beyond unless they're deserved of a place in the starting 11. It's as simple as that.
Don, Chelsea 5-2-1 to finish top 4. They're 5 points clear now after the results that we've seen over the last couple of days. Looking good for it.
I think so. I think they've got to improve when sides go really deep against them. I think when you look back at their results at Stamford Bridge, I mean, Bournemouth beat them 1-0, West Ham beat them 1-0, Southampton beat them 2-0. So when sides go really defensive, like Villa did today, and they struggled for, not in terms of, winning the game, but they controlled the game, especially in the first half, but they need to put teams to bed, because the Premier League, no one goes away in the Premier League. You don't often, have 5, 6s and 7s. The top teams maybe do on occasions, but with this young coach in Frank Lampard and the young players at Chelsea, they need to mature and they need a little bit of confidence, and that will come. I always think Chelsea are a better side once they take the lead. They relax more and they become more confident.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.